Hi everyone, I hope you're all keeping well in these difficult times. I'm Sagar Sudesh, an MS in Biomedical Engineering student here at the University of Glasgow. I'm starting a series titled Perspectives where I interview people from diverse backgrounds on various socially relevant issues. So, the first topic is going to be that of international relations, with a special focus on how COVID 19 will change the political landscape of the world. Since the ancient times, man has been driven by a need to reach out to one another for trade, for war, and so on. It was the death and destruction caused by both the world wars that stressed the need for nations to come and work together, and hence led to the establishment of the United Nations. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of all our problems. Even though the world has become a global village, nations are ultimately on their own and must navigate through an ocean of problems ranging from terrorism to financial crisis. How nations can achieve their goals through diplomatically interacting with one another is what international relations is all about. So, the topic for today is international relations, and we have Jayaram joining us for the discussion. Jairam is currently a student of Model Engineering College. He's an active IR enthusiast. I guess in India, you first become an engineer, then you decide what to do in your life, right? Is that right, Jairam?
Yeah, hopefully that's how it surely goes on.
So getting back to the point, Jairam's participated in several mock United Nations conferences and he's won awards for the same. He actively writes articles on several socio-political affairs. So without further ado, let's get to the first question. Jairam, tell us, why international relations and how can an ambitious individual like, say, you or me go big with it?
So first of all, I'll define what's international relations. So international relations is nothing but study of combining politics, law, and history on a global level. So basically, when we talk about international relations at like a career perspective, we refer to the university level. But it's in university level, it's associated more with political science. But when we go deeper and deeper into the subject, we find that it's mixture of everything. It's a mixture of international politics, human rights, international law, diplomacy, foreign relations, and a lot more. Maybe
So
like
quite
yeah,
diverse. You need
yeah.
a diverse set of skills to succeed. Would you say that?
No, I'm saying like international relations is not just political science. Like there are a lot of aspects associated surrounding it.
So it has multiple faces.
Yeah,
That
it
kind
has.
of subject. Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Then how can a person be successful? Can start a career and end up in a hopefully and find some success in it. What's the route you would recommend?
So, like when I first came to know about international relations, it was in my first year of bachelor's in engineering. But like
Hmm.
that was like I never knew that such a course existed until I reached my college, and it was too late for me to
Ah,
realize that such a course was there.
so,
Like
and then
majority of my family members and friends also don't know about it.
oh,
Even
that's how.
today,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how it is in India. Right?
only very few universities have such a course. It's quite
Hmm.
unpopular.
Fine, fine. So
Like
what's the route though? And do you
like
end up being
yeah,
a diplomat,
yeah
a civil
you
servant?
don't have yeah you don't actually have to like be from a such a background. Like you don't have to need a particular background to study international relations. Like you can join after any degree into international relations, but again there are some universities which do put restrictions. Like if you want to do bachelor's or master's, you already need to have a background in arts or humanities. But
Hmm.
there are certain other institutions which do not have such a restriction. So
Oh, fine.
I'll just introduce how you can start a IR career even without just having a degree.
Okay.
Like first, like basically from a knowledge perspective, you can read news thoroughly. It's the most important aspect. You need to have the connect with news or what's going happen or what happens around the globe. Like you have a lot of news like BBC, Reuters, Al Jazeera, Bloomberg, etc. You can
Oh,
either
fine,
use
fine.
TV, you can use TV channels, or you have a lot of apps. YouTube
Fine.
videos, etc.
Oh, so current affairs is quite important. Is that
Yeah, current affairs is quite important. And after current affairs, like you can raise the bar, like you can read more opinionated articles and
opinion. I see.
international relations textbooks, then how other diplomats or their interviews, etc. And of course, you need to put your knowledge to practice. That is by writing articles, your opinions, or even like discussing with others, your friends, like discussing various programs on UN or what is their opinion on like something happening around the globe. Say like the issue in Hong Kong that's happening right now. So you can just have a direct conversation.
Fine. So how do you be a diplomat? I mean, how do you go through that career path? At least in India.
Yeah, at least in India, to be a diplomat, like you don't actually have to be an international relations graduate in India to be a diplomat.
The civil service.
The only need to have is a bachelor's degree and to have qualified the Union Public Service examination that is already also known as civil service exam. Like and other after you pass that exam, right? You will be given it. Yeah.
Another career path is the United Nations, right?
Yeah, the path is you can also join other organizations, NGOs, or even be a professor in university, etc.
Universities, I see.
But in India, like if you,
So two paths, you could say. Broadly, two paths. One is the civil service.
Yeah, broadly two paths. Also, I think you can also be like a political analyst or a international relations journalist, etc. Like, those are also available.
Yeah, they're not strictly diplomat roles, but then they are a part of international relations.
Yeah. I don't know how is it done in like other countries. Like, do they have an exam or do they need a degree in international relations? I don't know. Yeah, but in India, it's like
the cadre system is not there in other countries. It's there in India. I guess in the US, there's no cadre system. It's more of a political appointment rather than a bureaucratic thing.
Yeah.
So, who do you look up to? It's a personal question.
No, I don't look up to anything as such. Like, I just move in my own pace.
You are your own idol, right?
Yeah, I'm your own idol. I gather different ideas and choose the ideas which I have at the moment. For example, I love watching certain news channels like the journalists and all, like how passionately they talk about different political and international issues.
Okay. So let's get to the major question for today. How will the COVID-19 crisis change the political landscape of the world? There's a rising anti-China sentiment right now, right? Is that how it's going to be?
Maybe like we do have an anti-China sentiment, like especially more in those right-wing countries like USA, UK, etc. Like they can't blame themselves for the entire pandemic, so they'll be like, okay, fine, let's blame China, or maybe they can say China let the virus go out of their own country, and now they are fully free and putting the rest of the world under pressure. And also the effect of lockdown and economy have also played like USA and Brazil, but
then some say that they were too lax on the restrictions, that they put restrictions quite late, and they were able to buy off the World Health Organization the strategy.
Maybe the first day they reported was December 31 of 2019, but the lockdown they initiated in the Hubei province was on 21st January. Maybe we can question like what happened between those 3 weeks, but I actually don't know like whether actually like WHO was working in their favor.
The accusation that the virus is man-made, lab-made or man-made. I mean, okay, fine. That you definitely need evidence, but then the other issue is that they were too lax on putting restrictions on international travel, and they have quite a large diaspora in in other foreign countries. So,
yeah, that's true there. Because
that's
like
true.
it was the time of Chinese New Year, and Wuhan was the main center of Chinese New Year, and over 5 million people entered and exited the city during a small time period, and they took the virus across the globe.
So would you say they put economic considerations before the lives of the world? Do you say that?
Maybe we can't say anything because it's China, and like we do have very less information. But there is actually no private news channels or anything like which can actually report anything on ground in China.
So what would you, I mean, let's play a bit of devil's advocate here. What do you think China ought to do, or what would they do? Since there's a bloc, there's an anti-China bloc coming up. I think UK has proposed a 5G alliance to counter the Chinese market. Huawei.
I think like the first one maybe to retaliate was like Australia, who said openly that WHO was manipulated by China, and China strongly reacted by cutting off like imports from Australia. I don't know, it was some food crop. I exactly don't remember what they did stop, but China is strong enough to retaliate those, like whichever country it may be, it may be USA or what. Like we saw the US-China trade war a few months ago, and it's still continuing. China is strong enough to retaliate against whichever country it may be, and of course, China is the world's biggest manufacturer. We can't deny that. Like even the phones we use or whatever we use, it's all from China. And
allow me to rephrase the question a bit. So what was their strategy pre-COVID, and what was the strategy post-COVID? You like draw a connection there?
Pre-COVID, again, like China is a dictatorship,
Ah,
and
well,
but they even though we say like what
were they searching for economic domination?
Yeah, of
because
course they are searching for economic domination.
They have partnerships and business in several countries, right, across the world.
Yeah, they do.
So some say
yeah, they are searching for economic dominance. Even though we say it's a communist country, they do have capitalist. Like it's a mixed economy. They do have a lot of private companies, like lot of private companies working across the globe, and you also have US companies manufacturing like Tesla, iPhone, like Apple, sorry.
So how about India? Atmanirbhar India. What should India do, according to you?
So mainly first thing India should do is like to recover from the pandemic first. First they should remove the lockdown and start to ease restrictions, start opening public transport. And again,
but I'm talking about a political strategy. I'm talking about a political strategy.
Yeah, India should first of all like analyze itself. Like, what should we do to attract business from China? We should give incentives to companies who are ready to come to India. You can't just say Atmanirbhar and just keep quiet. You need to work for it.
I recently read that Apple is shifting its base from China to India. Is that true?
Maybe there are a lot of speculations. Like there was a recent speculation that over 100 companies have decided to move from China to Uttar Pradesh. But what I can understand is there was no legal document which is actually prepared on it. It's true that a lot of companies were in touch with Indian authorities, but also we need also look at the present time. The entire world is affected. Only China is like fully open for. At what cost will they shift to India, which is still rattling up with nearly 180,000 cases? Because India hasn't still there are a lot of job problems in India. Even transport is not yet open.
Oh, fine. So
unless we solve those issues, I don't think there is much.
The border dispute as well, wouldn't you say? We just had it 1 week back. There was a border dispute as well.
Yeah, we had two border dispute, one with Nepal and one with China, and actually both are quite old, but I don't know what exactly are they doing it now.
Like in the sense, in what context?
Like what is it doing in 2020? I don't know. I don't get what exactly does the Nepalese government trying to do right now.
Yeah, I know. That's what.
Just like they have opened the new, old case right now.
Yeah, that's right. Like, what their intention is. So, I mean, would you say that even now it's right versus left, right?
Just
China, communist, Bloc, right-wing countries like UK, US, India. So it's still the Cold War. Do you say that?
pretty much, but I still doubt whether I should consider China in the left sphere. Because like
Yeah.
China functions entirely quite like a right-wing society where they put
But
quite a lot of restrictions
the
on free
USSR,
press.
yeah, even the USSR was like that, right? Quite authoritative.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was quite. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
like,
fine.
coming to economic perspective, I think China can be placed on right. But when it comes to other aspects, it can be placed on left, like how society functions and
No, fine.
the
That's an
restrictions, like the communist agenda. Most of India's exports come from China, and China obviously imports quite a lot from India. Like it happened both sides, but China is not actually a partner which India can trust openly. Like we can say everything is okay with both that India can never say. Even we do have a lot of disputes with Ladakh, we have Arunachal Pradesh, and we also have some issues with Pakistan, which China is supporting Pakistan. So we can't actually say that China is like a good friend of India, but we do have had very good relationship with China. Like Prime Minister Modi himself went to Wuhan few years back, and
Okay.
like Xi Jinping had come to Chennai. Like
Oh, fine. So
for the like we do
it's
have a
going
very good diplomatic relationship with China, but
it's going
it's
to be very
not actually a
nuanced
not a,
relation. So it's very
it's like a mixed relationship, just like
love-hate
China's mixed economy.
love-hate relationships. You could say that.
Yeah, somewhat like that.
So, oh yeah, so we've come to the end, right? We can wrap
Yeah,
up now, hopefully. So
yeah, sure.
Jairam and a couple of other peers from Model Engineering College, they maintain a blog known as Mano's Daily, where they write articles on various socio-political affairs of the world and also of India. So I hope you liked my first session. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like the video. Thank you for watching.